Welcome back tonight. The focus of the world now locked on Britain's new king. It is the moment he's been preparing for his entire life. My 2020 co-anchor, Amy Robach, is live in Scotland tonight. She has the story of King Charles III now. Amy, we're getting used to this new title, but we're already here in London outside Buckingham Palace, been interacting with the crowds who have welcomed this new king.
They certainly have, David, and good evening to you. Yes, we all know Queen Elizabeth had been on the throne for 7 decades as head of the royal family, and for her son, it's been a lifetime of being known as Prince Charles. So the idea of King Charles is taking some getting used to. It's certainly taken me a little getting used to just saying it while we're broadcasting. It's also taking some time for the Commonwealth and also for the king himself. As a country mourns its queen, so does a son. Even to him, she was Your Majesty in public, but watch her face on her 92nd birthday.
Your Majesty, Mummy.
In 1952, when Charles was just 3, his mother became queen. His destiny was laid out before him. It was a difficult childhood for Charles. As a young queen, his mother put duty and service above all else.
One of the things he talks about is this memory of his mother coming to kiss him goodnight on the nursery floor, wearing the imperial state crown.
As he grew and became Prince of Wales, the public always fascinated with the relationship between mother and son. Years later, that relationship would be imagined in the dramatic fictionalized series, The Crown.
Because I have a beating heart. I have a voice.
Let me let you into a secret. No one wants to hear it.
In public, though, many knew him as a Playboy prince.
He was considered the world's most eligible bachelor. At the time, it was considered, maybe he's not a serious enough man for the role of Prince of Wales, for the role of future king.
Everything changed with Diana.
What was your instant impression, both of you?
Great fun, bouncy and full of life and everything. And I don't know what you thought of me.
Pretty amazing.
And I suppose in love.
Of course.
Whatever in love means.
And that tells you, I think, a little bit about maybe his upbringing. Whatever love is from a grown man who's just gotten engaged. It's not the note you want to go out and pick your informal china pattern with.
Lady Diana makes her way the final few feet.
The fairy tale royal wedding was magical.
So long as you both shall live.
I will.
Diana and Charles would have 2 sons, William and Harry, before it all fell apart. After their notorious divorce and the tragic death of Diana, Charles was left to raise the boys as a single parent.
They are coping extraordinarily well, but obviously Diana's loss and death has been an enormous loss as far as they're concerned.
Which would eventually lead him back to an early but never forgotten love, Camilla. The pair would finally marry in 2005, his mother guiding him through all these storms. Charles increasingly taking on his mother's duties over the years, speaking at Parliament in her place, doing hundreds of royal engagements every year. By 2016, the count, 530 of them both at home and abroad.
He actually, I think, spent his time trying to carve out a very meaningful legacy and a very meaningful role as Prince of Wales, and he did achieve that.
Now the Queen is gone, and Charles becomes king. Yesterday, for the first time, we heard the words, King Charles III. Just saying those words takes some getting used to for a country and a world so used to calling him Prince.
So many people have got it wrong, talking about His Majesty the Queen. And it's going to take us all along a few months at least to get used to a new king.
Charles is very much a man of the arts. He's possibly a bit more sort of cerebral and artistic than his mother was. So I think there's going to be a little bit more Shakespeare perhaps and a little bit less horse racing from a King Charles.
Yesterday, sticking with tradition, King Charles was the first to put out a statement. We mourn profoundly the passing of a cherished sovereign and much-loved mother. And today, Charles taking his first steps as the new monarch, greeting his subjects. And in the days to come, there will be more protocol and pomp.
We aren't going to see Charles, the new king, instantly holding a scepter, wearing the large crown. That's going to take some time.
There are steps. So tomorrow the Privy Council will meet and he will officially become king there. That will be televised for the first time.
He's on pretty much a whistle-stop tour of the United Kingdom as king, because he's got to be seen in the capitals of the United Kingdom, the capital of Wales, Belfast too.
All this leading to the official coronation of King Charles III. Not since these familiar black and white images have we seen a royal coronation. A young queen holding those scepters, embodying in every way the famous saying, "Heavy is the head that wears the crown."
King Charles was actually present at his mother's coronation. He was just a little boy. So of course it'll bring back all those memories, but this is a different century now.
A coronation is an incredibly powerful ceremonial moment. It's steeped in history. It'll be a very emotional day for everyone involved.
This man is an absolute gem, and we should put our hands together in this country. We've got him. And people are saying, oh yeah, but he won't make a great king. Wait and see.
It was an extraordinary day watching King Charles interact with the people who were not only here to mourn Queen Elizabeth, but to signal to him that they welcome him as their new king. I'm curious, Amy, what you've learned tonight about the next couple of days for King Charles, and when can we expect the coronation for the king?
Well, you know, the wait for that coronation could be longer than many people would expect. It could be several months from now. We're hearing it could be anywhere from 6 to 12 months. And for a point of reference, his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, her coronation didn't happen until 14 months after she assumed the throne. But he will certainly be busy in the days to come as this nation continues to mourn the loss of his mother. David?
Well, Amy, our thanks to you, and I know you have much more coming up from Scotland as we continue on this special edition. Amy, thanks. I want to bring in Robert Jobson with us here tonight as well, former Communications and Press Secretary to the Queen. Ilse Anderson also with us. And Ilse, I wanted to begin with you, if I could, because you are the closest to the Queen of the group assembled tonight to report this special. And I'm just curious, and I know it's a difficult question to answer, but what do you think the Queen would have made of her son today on his first full day as king?
Well, I don't know about you, but when I first heard the king make his address to the nation, I had a lump in my throat and tears in my eyes. I thought his words were incredibly moving. I thought he absolutely nailed it, to be honest. He was emotional, he was solid, he had the references to the new Prince and Princess of Wales. He spoke about Harry and Meghan and their new life in America. So I think if the Queen was listening or here now, she would just be extraordinarily proud of him and what he has done today, and what must be a very difficult day for a man who is grieving both privately and publicly.
That's such an important point, Robert. I want to bring that to you. You and I were actually talking about this before we came on tonight. You have to keep in mind that this is a new king who has lost his mother, grieving in private, but bringing the Commonwealth along with their sorrow and their preparation, if you will, for the next sort of chapter of the royal family. How is he doing balancing this? You've spent a lot of time covering him and interacting with him.
Well, I think he spoke brilliantly, actually, and I thought his reaction was brilliant too. But what I think he was balancing here is that moment when he said, I've been dreading this. I've been dreading this, he said to Liz Truss. He said it to other people as well. But of course he's dreaded it, but he has a responsibility not only to his family, but to the people and to the realms and the Commonwealth. And I think he really got the mood right today. And also it would have helped him enormously when he arrived back from Scotland, where all that emotion has been on display. And there were those people singing God Save the King. There were people wanting to kiss his hand and embrace him. That would have touched him deeply, because he's a very sensitive and emotional man. And as he walked in through the gates into Buckingham Palace, I would have been thinking about his mother, his father, his grandmother, the Queen Mother. And of course he didn't have a lot of memories of the last king, King George VI. He had a memory when he was just a little boy sitting on he was photographed sitting on a settee, a little sofa, and there he was now taking that moment, his moment of destiny, and that's exactly what happened today.
Really striking to think of the young boy riding back home from boarding school, what it was like when all the other children knew he was the heir to the throne all these years later, 70 years later.
all that time later. And I think he struggled with that at school. You know, he used to say when he was particularly in Scotland, at Gordonstoun, he used to say that it was like Colditz and kilts. You know, he had a difficult time. But I think, you know, everyone sort of used to criticise the Duke of Edinburgh. Why did he push him so hard? Well, maybe that's why he did push him so hard, because the man we've got as king now has really stood tall at the moment he needed to.
Meeting the moment. Robert, our thanks to you and to Ilse as well.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.